and welcome to the Gallant Few Gallus 2 podcast. My name is David Tomlinson. I'm your host for tonight, and with me is my good friend, Mr. David Pollock. David, how are you on a Friday dark morning? I don't know what the weather is outside. It's raining all day here anyway, or spitting all day. It's not really rain, but it's spitting all day. So how are you in sunny Glasgow?
I'm in sunny West Lothian, so I don't know what it's like in Glasgow, but it's certainly been it's not been a bad day today here. It's been quite sunny and bright and quite pleasant. It's quite calm. I think it was a slight breeze, but no more than that, Dave. So the weather's been no bad. So I'm sorry to hear continental Europe's getting our weather instead of us, which, but I know. I know it's wrong of me to feel pleased about that you're getting the rain and we're no. So please forgive me.
I remember whenever I played snooker, Dave, or pool, you had whirlwind white. They used to call me Slight Breeze Tomlinson, so that was me on the pool table and snooker table. Was very good. Anyway, looking back to the game on Sunday, it was, Dave. I think a game of two halves, really. First half was absolutely, no, I wouldn't say shocking, but it wasn't very good. The second half, I think, was better. On the whole, I suppose you take the 90 minutes, you're probably talking about a 6, 7 out of 10. But the first half, 3 out of 10, I think.
No, I wouldn't even say the second half was a vast improvement. It was a slight improvement, which was brought mainly by our substitutions. And I thought when Proper went off and Casemiro went to the centre of defence and Tavernier actually made a difference. So all the Tav haters were going to have to kind of dial it down a wee touch because we looked much more of a threat with Tavernier in position than when we had Carol Proper on the field and Casemiro at right back. So maybe it's something that we should be. I suspect Tav will be back in his right back slot when we go to Pittodrie tomorrow night. So I could be wrong, but I suspect that it was just much more of a settled look in the team. But certainly the first half performance was rubbish, Dave. In terms of we're up for it, and it's kind of a wee warning. It's exactly what we're going to walk into. So the team know that, we know that, the dogs in the street know that they're going to be breathing fire, when in the tunnel before they go out into the pitch. The Aberdeen fans in the stands, will be foaming at the mouth when, as the teams emerge from that shitty wee tunnel that they've got onto the pitch. And, inspecting, this is their chance, they're going to do Rangers. So, as wee Barry Ferguson has said in the press, in the last couple of days, just go up there and shut them up.
Yeah, I think that's the way. But I'm still going to look back, Dave, on the St Mirren game, but coming on to the Aberdeen game in a few minutes. The first goal, 13 minutes, Dave. I thought, well, okay, this is a good start. We'll kick on from here. It was a shot from Czerny, and it actually hit Diamondi in the thigh or the bottom or whatever. And then also, and it put the keeper off. It ended up hitting the keeper's legs and coming back out to Diamondi, and he shot into the net. So this is it, Dave. We'll kick on from here.
It wasn't to be, Dave. It was Raskin who had the shot.
Was it Raskin? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right enough. Yeah.
Yes, but it was one of the. Was it possibly our first attempt on goal? We didn't have much at all. St Mirren started quite brightly, and we're well up for it. Energy, aggression. That Carol Proper, Proper get absolutely ragdolled with their forward line. That boy up front, what was his name? I actually looked up his name after the game. Which is, but yeah,
His name was Olas Anya, Dave. Olas Anya.
Olas Anya. That's Aye, he must have been sore on Sunday night from that boy, because he was well up for it. He was. Did he was into a couple of wee tete-a-tetes with him, and he was, he shoved him and he put his hand up to him, he brushed his hand away, and so they were clearly not in Christmas exchanging Christmas card terms, but proper. If that's the level of his game, he's going to be he'll be the next one who's going on loan back to whatever Dutch team will have him, because he needs to be a bit more aggressive. As we said before, he has to understand what this is, what the Scottish League is going to be. There is going to be aggressive centre forwards. It's trying to spoil his day every time he steps out onto the pitch. So he better match up, or it's going to be very difficult for him.
Yeah, I phoned a good friend of mine last night, and we were talking about it. He's an FC Twente supporter, and he said he was a really good player with them. I think the difference is, Dave, the physical side of the game. Obviously, in Holland, not get that physical. I mean, I suppose when you look at Luke de Jong from PSV, I mean, he is a big physical player as well. I wish we had it. I wish we'd bought him instead of Cyril Dessers, to be honest with you. But he is a big physical player. And as I think I said in the podcast last week sometime, they're actually looking into him. They're looking for him to take part in a test for brain damage for heading the ball. So because he's needed that many balls in his life, that they're going to be looking into brain damage for football players. And yeah, he's I've sort of put myself. Yeah, I think that's the part that he's missing, the physicality. He seems to go to ground very easily as well. I don't know whether that's just if I do a slide tackle, then at least they'll think I've done my best, even although I've no chance of getting the ball.
I'm a defender. I need to slide tackle. Maybe he's just ticking boxes here. Yeah, I mean, Cyril Dessers is another one who appears to hit the ground very quickly for all sorts of reasons. He just thinks the ball's arrived. I need to be in the floor. I don't know. What
do you think of that? Just to go on to that, Dave. What did you think of that penalty? The penalty claim? Do you think it was a penalty?
I've only seen it from the club deck, so I haven't seen any replays or close-ups or anything. But it didn't look a very convincing penalty to me. I think he just he does what he usually does, when he comes up against, when he has contact with one of the opposition, is that he'll just flop to the ground anyway. He has this irritating habit of when he touches anything, he falls over. So no, it didn't look too convincing, but I was hoping to be persuaded otherwise by VAR, but we didn't get that far. The referee saved his embarrassment and just drew proceedings to a halt, thankfully, and we got the result. We got 2-1. So it's a win, 3 points, but in terms of performance, it wasn't the most convincing I've ever seen. How much of that am I going to remember? By next week, or probably the 2 goals. I think Jaroslav Cherny, scores the winner after scoring a couple on Thursday. And after his bigging him up last week, saying he's a good player and he's technically sound and that he will be he's capable of good things, and hey presto, in the last week he's delivered. So well done, Jaroslav. I think he's a decent player, and he almost scored a second, which had we won that game 3-1, I think St Mirren would have felt very aggrieved. I think they felt aggrieved that they didn't get anything out of the game, because St Mirren gave a good account of themselves. They were.
That was another penalty claim, Dave, that they thought they should have had. and that was when Casanwerio clashed with was it that Ozin the same striker, I think it was. I'm not sure about that, but they clashed. And they clashed in the box, and they St Mirren touched a penalty. In fact, the St Mirren manager, he raced to the referee after the game and was absolutely going nutters with him. I didn't think that was much of that either.
As part of the course, they lose. They're going to be raging at the referee. I mean, the one that they broke away in the second half, and it was pulled back for offside. I honestly thought the guy was a mile offside, but apparently it was much tighter than I thought. So I wasn't overly bothered when they popped it in, because I was convinced it was offside, and VAR in this particular instance duly delivered, thank God. But we weren't the most convincing, Dave, we've ever been. You know, we did it. See, towards the end of the game, you know, the last 20-25 minutes, we were coming on to a game, and I think we looked okay at the end, but for the first hour and a bit, it wasn't. We looked to be struggling just a tad. I mean, they're all big players, the St Mirren players, eh? And we're going to come up against it, as I said. But this is exactly what we're walking into tomorrow night. So I hope the Rangers players are going to match that energy. And that was my takeaway from watching Aberdeen at the weekend against Dundee United. I watched the second half, and they did not stop. You cannot fault them for effort. They just kept going at Dundee United, and there was a kind of air of inevitability that they were going to get the goal, and they duly did. They did leave it late. I think it was 80 odd minutes before they scored, but they just kept banging away. They were up, and the energy from the crowd, you know, they were well up for it. This is what we're going to be facing tomorrow, so we need the Rangers team to be well up for it.
Yeah, well, I'm going to go back to the St Mirren goal, Dave. Jack Butland get caught in his line. They boxed him in, one player boxed him in and wouldn't let him. Now, in my eyes, if they've got a player on the line next to the goalkeeper, holding the goalkeeper back, in my eyes, Rangers should have had a player in there as well, pushing the player away from Jack Butland. But nobody seemed to do that. They just seemed to let the guy stand in front of Jack Butland. And it resulted in a goal because obviously Butland couldn't move anyway. He couldn't move to save it. He couldn't move to. And I really think that should be been thing for blown off for obstruction, Dave. To be honest with you.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be bold here and say that Rangers will be working to a plan, you know, on corner kicks. So the ball, anything within the 6-yard box, they will be expecting the goalkeeper to come for it. And if Jack, I mean, there should be, you know, someone there if someone is physically blocking the keeper or attempting to block the keeper, someone should be in there to block them, so to make it impossible, so that Jack, you know, because they know the tactic will be anything in the 6-yard box, Jack will come for it. So if the ball is delivered inside the 6 and he doesn't, it's because he's been stopped. Someone should have been dealing with that. But saying that, no one challenged Rogic when he just came charging in, you know, and it seemed to be pretty much unchallenged and bulleted the ball home. And it was not against the run of play. We were almost expecting it, Dave, by that time. We certainly were. Where I wasn't in the stadium, it was not a huge surprise because they were getting at us. So.
Do you understand this corner thing that we've got, Dave? I mean, we'll probably come up against it tomorrow as well. Yeah. It seems to be the small players take the biggest opponents, and then you've got Proper and whatever ball it was. His name's went right out of my head. Yeah, Halligan. Yeah. It was Proper and Balogun. They seem to stand in the 6-yard line, and the smaller players. I mean, even Connor Barron gets a player I mean, the chance of him getting beating a Gogic is minimal. And no, it was Diamandi. Diamandi had it was actually had Gogic to mark. But I think Diamandi was still standing in the same place when the guy headed into the goal.
Yeah, Gogic is a physical player. You know, we know from when he played with Hibs, and we've seen him play with St Mirren as well. And is that he's going to be a physical handful, in corner kicks. And you see, you've got to match that. If you're going to put up someone who's like Diomande, who's got a pinstripe suit with only one stripe on it, up against him, it's a bit of a mismatch. So we need to be a bit smarter than that, in terms of who we're lining up against the opposition. He's going to come in. He came in like a bloody express train, and nothing was going to get in the way of that ball. It was, and he was up there and bulleted it into the net, and it just looked like we'd all the Rangers defenders standing about, and the goalkeepers, not made any effort. None of the defenders have challenged them. It's just like, well, bloody hell, that happened there. I mean, that didn't go according to plan, whatever the plan was.
Yeah, it's I thought I heard in the beginning that we had one of the coaches that we had was a corner kick expert. At either end, Dave, I haven't seen anything that makes me believe that.
No, neither have I, Dave. Because our corners, we just it's become something of a not quite a laughing point, but it's we actually we were keeping account of the corners that Rangers had taken without actually scoring a goal from one. I think it was 90 or something. Did we not? Whenever we played St Johnstone, sorry, it was last season. I think we had 22 corners in the game. 22 in one game. Nothing.
And these days, you've got more chance of 22 yellow cards, Dave, because this seems to be. It took us 2 minutes 34 seconds, I think, to get a yellow card yesterday.
I think it was even earlier than that, Dave. It was 1 minute 40 seconds, and Hamza Egerman managed to get booked.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was a book for nothing as well, wasn't it? I don't know. See, if you're going to give out bookings for that, things like that, Dave, where are we going?
Yeah,
where are we going?
If we continued in that vein, for 90 minutes, if that's a booking after 1 minute 40 seconds, it wouldn't have been 5 aside at the end of the game. It would have been. Yeah, it was absolute nonsense. The referee wasn't very good on Sunday. I mean, for both teams, I wouldn't say it was particularly, detrimental to our cause. I think it was both sides, but I don't know. But
I really think, Dave, if we're going to start giving yellow cards for that, then I think we need to think about bringing in another card, a third card, because I mean, I seen in the English League a couple of weeks ago, they hit a record of 13 yellow cards in a game. If they keep going on giving fouls for shit, I mean, nearly every tackle's a foul now, is a yellow card now, isn't it? You don't get a foul without a yellow card these days.
That would have been my kind of overall assessment of the referee on Sunday. He was inconsistent in terms of, because if he's starting at 1 minute 40 seconds, that's a booking. Like, God Almighty, the record's in severe danger here, because we're going to get to double figures, no bother. But we got there. We got the win. We got the 3 points. It's not pretty, but we need to be more of a force. We need to be more creative. I thought we need to be more up for it. A very slow start. It seemed St Mirren seemed to be what I would have said in my assessment of that. St Mirren came with no fear, so they think that, as some clubs have done in the past. And we were speaking before we came on about Hearts coming to Ibrox, thinking that they had a wee run in the league and they're thinking, right, we can take them, and had a go and we stuffed them 4-0. So I think there's a few of the clubs are going to come to Ibrox and have a go, which I'm hoping that we will use to our benefit in exploiting that. You know, rather than go for if they're going to abandon the low block, thinking no, we can get 3 points here. We can have a go at Rangers, and I'm hoping that will work in our favour tomorrow night when Aberdeen, you know, saying right, Rangers are here. You know, we're going to go 9 points clear, so let's get out here. But if they're going to be attacking us, then it gives us opportunities for us to attack them.
Yeah, well, I hope so, but I think physicality is going to go into it. Then the Dessers come on, Dave, for Igmani in the 46th minute. Well, I guess that was at half time then that he come on.
Yeah, because it was. I mean, that decision was made kind of late first half because as soon as the first half was finished, Dessers was out on the pitch with one of the coaching staff warming up, so we knew right away, immediately, that Dessers was coming on in the second half. And so clearly the decision had been made sometime during the first half because he was waiting on the touchline for the end of the first half and was immediately on the pitch. And one of the coaching staff took him through his wee routine, his wee warm-up routine, and he duly appeared, you know, at the end of the break. So, but Dessers, you know, it says something about our attacking options, David. Then we managed to find someone worse than Cyril Dessers for the first half. So, yeah, Hamza Igaman will not be putting that in his video diary for, you know, trying to get a move to his next club, because the first half was just a non-event for him. It just, I mean, starting with the booking in 1 minute 40 seconds, and it just went downhill from there. Just contributed.
I think he's only. I think he's 21, Dave. He's only young. Let's put it that way. But if you look at Connor Golson's, Connor Barnes is the same age as him, probably. Then the difference is really night and day with the playing style and everything.
Yeah, Dave, I'm thinking of, you know, of his first half performance. I'm struggling to remember a touch in the opposition box. That I mean, we weren't in their box too often in the first half, and I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone could in the comments tell me.
I think he did.
Did he have it in the opposition box? How many touches did he have in total? His contribution was very small.
You don't mind that, Dave. I mean, some strikers do disappear for most of the game, but as long as they're sticking in 2 goals, 3 goals, then you don't mind them having. I mean, sometimes the Japanese boy for Celtic, sometimes he hardly touches the ball in a game, Dave. But when he does touch it, it's normally in the back of the net. You know, that's so at times you don't mind that.
Well, I think if he's a strong enough presence to be occupying the central defenders and let, you know, create room for other players, then there is some merit, you know, in players who, you know, have a large physical presence and the central defenders, you know, daren't, you know, leave them for fear of, you know, what will happen if they do. I just don't think he has that presence, Dave. So I think he'll be work in progress. But if you say he's 21, but even at 21, we're looking for a bit more of a contribution than what he provided in the first half. Because it's just following on from, you know, his. I mean, he obviously had the goal in Thursday night, which Connor Barnes, you know, pops the ball to him. He runs forward, gives the guy from FCSB, you know, the kind of run around with his wee step overs and then pop one in, you know, and it looked a good finish. So I'm hoping that we could see more of that, but we were a long way from that on Sunday against St Mirren.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that goes. Then the sort of noises from Cyril get Cyril Dessers off and get this. What's Dessers doing on? We're not even finished yet, Dave. When he pops up, a shy's taken. He chips the ball over the defenders, goes after it himself, cuts it along the byline, puts it back to Czerny, and Czerny knocks it into the net. I thought Czerny done really well to get it into the net because he was covered with, there was two defenders and a goalkeeper round about him. So I thought he done very well to get the ball into the net. But all of a sudden, Dessersweer, superhero.
Absolutely. And we were, I mean, it's all relativity, isn't it? So, after the contribution of, maybe it was done deliberately. Like a man came on and says, I'll come on, I'll play an absolute coup, Cyril. You come on and you'll look like Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo. So maybe that was all the plan, but
yeah, well, that's
anyway. But no, but the big man did a nice a wee dance down to the byline, cut it back, and Yaroslav, did well to, as you say, get it into the net because he did take a touch with his right and swiveled round and got it over the line for a nice goal, and then almost scored again. We almost got a double, a brace, in the game to follow his brace on Thursday night. But I thought Czerny was actually quite good on Sunday. He's some nice, lovely touches. Good player.
In the presser today, Philip come on, used him, Czerny, as an example of how fans say one thing one week and another thing the other week, because come on said, a few weeks ago Czerny was a rubbish footballer, and now he's scored 5 goals in 4 games. All of a sudden he's a brilliant footballer. He says we can't, as a manager, we can't think like that. We've got to believe in the players. That's I suppose football supporters are a bit sort of what the tide comes in and comes out.
Well, I think that's partly true, Dave. But what I did notice, and this is only my opinion, obviously this is all my opinion, but the Yaroslav Czerny's commitment and energy and chasing the lost causes was a vast improvement on Thursday night and on Sunday. He's in terms of commitment, this boy is certainly upped it. There's no doubt about that, because he understands that the Rangers support will be very unforgiving if he gives the impression, even if it is only the impression, and it's not what he's actually doing, is that he's coasting in the game and that he's not putting in, he's not giving 100%. So I think the Rangers fans had the impression that Yaroslav Czerny wasn't giving 100% and was, and was a bit, I don't say lackadaisical, but he wasn't as energetic as he could be. But he's certainly not been that player in the last couple of games, because he is up and after the ball and doing the press, closing people down. So
I think the big,
he just looks a better player for it, to be honest, Dave. But he's technically very good. You can see that he's a very good player.
I think the most critical about him was, or critique about him was against Kilmarnock, and his excuse then was that I've been on international duty, and I was just back. You're travelling a lot, which a lot of managers are complaining about now, about so many internationals. They're taking players away, having to take them the other side of the world, and then coming back, and sometimes they're injured. And he gave that as an excuse, which isn't really an excuse, Dave. And if it is an excuse, if you can't play for your club after going away for an international, then you should be going to internationals. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, well, I think the lesson for Yaroslav Czerny in that particular instance is there are no excuses. Even if there are, just don't say it. Just don't talk about them.
Yeah,
because it will not be well received. So even if you are tired after coming back from international duty, just say, I had an off day. If you're going to start using internationals as an excuse, every time you go away in an international, Rangers fans will not be happy. So don't draw attention to that. That's my tip for him. You'll have to send that wee tip through to him.
Well, the starting lineup, Dave, I'll go on and we'll see how many you think will be starting on tomorrow night. You had Butland, Casemiro at right back, which was a surprise. We all thought that obviously Tavernier would be there. Proper and Balogun, Yefty. And then in the midfield, there was Barron and Raskin. And then virtually in the number 10, I think, was Diamande. Bajrami out on the left, Cherny out on the right, and Igman in the strikers role. How many do you think will be turning up for tomorrow on the starting lineup?
I would be surprised if Robin Proper makes an appearance in the starting lineup. I think he'll be held back he'll be the break glass for emergencies only. I'm hoping that Suter will be back in place.
Well, according to Clement today, Suter's fit and will be playing.
Well,
will be back anyway.
I'm hoping that it would be Leon Balogun, but even if it's not, it would be Casemiro. I would place Casemiro and John Suter as our central defenders. I would put Tavernier back at right back, Yefty at left back. Here's the controversial one. I would be giving Liam Kelly a start rather than Jack Butland, because Jack Butland in the last few weeks, I would say, gosh, maybe even the last few months, hasn't been at the top of his game. I think, obviously he's come out as captain. He got the arm, had to give Tav the armband when he come on. And I'm thinking, is he giving us leader, captain performances from not from what I see, Dave? So I'm not too far away from making up a banner to get Liam Kelly, give him a crack between the sticks rather than Jack Butland. Jack's, the game on Thursday night, he could have blown that 3 minutes, with the antics of when he's caught in possession, and the referee let us off the hook there, giving a foul, which was never a fucking foul. But he got away with it. The corner on Sunday, you're thinking, we all pretty much know what's going to happen here. And if you're allowing, the St Mirren player to block your run for a ball that's coming inside the 6-yard box, you need to be doing better. So Liam Kelly. Midfield, I think it would be Connor Barron, who's going to get he's going to get the treatment tomorrow. There's no doubt about that. And Raskin was very good on Sunday, wasn't it? And he was beginning to look the player that we kind of hoped he was when he arrived, and kind of gave us some signs that he was going to be a big player for Rangers. Obviously, the kind of injury issues, and he's obviously taken a wee while to get back to the kind of level that he was at when he first arrived. I'm hoping that we're now there with Nicholas Raskin. So, yeah, but Diomande, I think Diomande is a good player, and I think I would try and play him a wee bit further forward, because I think he offers a bit of a goal threat, and he offers a kind of some slide rule passes in and around the box he's capable of.
Well, I think the choice on tomorrow is either Lawrence or Diamande up front in the number 10 position. It could be, of course, it could be Bajrami. I don't see it. I think it's the manager sort of made up his mind now. Bajrami is going to be in the left. That might change when Cortez comes back.
Yeah,
but I think Bajrami is sort of now been given the left wing position. So I think your choice now is between Lawrence or Diamande for the number 10.
Lawrence has made a chocolate. I think this is going to be a physical battle. I mean, Clement has been on in the press conference today. He's saying that he's expecting a battle. By Christ, it's going to be a battle, because they. I wonder who's the referee. I don't know who the referee is tomorrow, because they're going to play a big part in this, because it's going to be very physical. You know, there's Aberdeen will be, as I said, you know, they'll have their sleeves rolled up, and they'll be in the tunnel before they get out there. They'll be looking forward to get right in Rangers' faces, and I'm hoping that Rangers return the serve, doing exactly the same to them.
Well, does it matter, Dave, these days who the referee is, because they're virtually all Celtic minded? So I don't think there's one referee that's sort of a Rangers minded these days.
Well, I think there's only one who I think is, and we all know who he is, but well, I hope you do. But I think, I mean, obviously, some of them are not very good. But we certainly need someone who's going to be a strong character, because they'll be baying for blood from the Pittodrie stands tomorrow. And that's just a matter of course, because it almost doesn't matter what happens on the pitch. They'll be baying for blood anyway. So
does that mean
we need to be strong? We need to be up for it. We need to be right in their faces and giving them as everything that we've got.
So who are you going for the 10, Dave? Are you going for Lawrence, or are you going for Diamande?
Diamande. I would go for Diamande. I would.
Okay.
Tom Lawrence is. I mean, Tom Lawrence is quite creative up front and things like that. But I think Bajrami, Cherny will also be quite creative. I think Diamande will be is a better user of the football to get our forward line involved, get our two wingers, and it'll undoubtedly be Big Cyril up front. There's no way that we don't have another option. So Dessers will be playing.
Yeah. And Cherny, I would imagine you go Cherny or McCausland. Who would do?
Oh, it'd be Jaslav Cherny. Yeah, he does carry a threat, capable of good things.
And Bajrami out in the left wing.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's it.
A couple of changes from Sunday's team, Dave. I think Robin Propper's in the dugout. Tav's on the pitch, and depending on whether Balogun's capable of playing 2 games a week, I would have Suter and Balogun or Suter and Casemiro in central defence.
I agree with you, Dave. I definitely 100% agree with you. But Clemens made so many curveball decisions in his Rangers career that it wouldn't surprise me if Proper was in the team. To be honest with you, it just wouldn't surprise me. Not because I think he should be, but just because of the curveballs that Clement keeps throwing.
Is curveball Dutch for stupid?
Well, might be. Might be.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, Clement, some of the decisions you get from the starting 11s, you're like, what the it doesn't. It just seems he's always capable of, something just you're not expecting, and he drops them in. Kieran Dowell a couple of weeks ago, appears dropped in from nowhere.
Is he still in the building? As Clement would say, that's his favourite saying. He's just in the building, isn't it?
Kieran Dowell's 2 years in the building, still shite.
Yeah. But no, I think I think your team will virtually. Although I think he'd probably play Lawrence. To be honest with you, I wouldn't, because I think when you play Lawrence, I think there's too much room between the defensive midfield and the attacking midfield. Lawrence doesn't cover that room behind him, and then you get the two men defensive midfielders, and you've got Lawrence stuck up front with the striker. I think there's too much room then in the midfield. So I think that way Diamande would be better.
He's not the box-to-box guy that he was when he was captain of Derby. He's just not that player anymore. So, I'm hoping that we're not picking Lawrence, and with the expectation that he is that player. He's not. So, as long as I would keep him and possibly use him sometime in the second half and freshen things up, because he does have a good shot in him, and he can be quite creative. So I would certainly from 60 minutes onwards we could see Lawrence, but I think for up until then, Diomande could keep a ball in a phone box. So we need to make sure we're not giving the ball away too often. And as I said, he's capable of some nice passes in and around the box.
Yeah. The other thing that he came away with, he was asked about Connor Barron, if he thought Connor Barron could handle obviously the crowd reaction that's going to be there for him. And he said, well, he's a strong player. And he started, I don't think it was today, actually. I think it was earlier in the week. In an interview, he said Connor Barron is a player possibly in the future that you're going to be looking to be a captain of a team. I don't think he's ready yet, he says, but I think in the future he will be. But he was quite confident that Connor Barron could handle himself.
Oh yeah, I mean it's an absolute sticker. I mean it's been since the moment he moved to Rangers. You know that as soon as he goes to Pittodrie, they're going to be shouting hearty words at him. It's been that's been in the post since the moment he arrived. From he was in the building, from the moment he arrived in the building. So well, guess what's going to happen when you get to Pittodrie? They're going to be shouting horrible things at you. Yeah. Just make sure that you ram them all the way down their throat.
Yeah, well, as you said, Barry Ferguson, he come away. There's only one way to shut them up: beat them. That's it. I seen he got Barron got sort of a help from Michael Payton, who worked with him at Berry Rangers, I think it was, and he said Barron will handle it no problem. He said that won't worry him at all.
Yeah, so professional football player and the crowd shouting horrible things at you, like, oh gosh, if they keep shouting that, I'm leaving. What?
Yeah. The other thing that the sort of worried about Rangers come away with it is the behaviour of the fans up there, Dave. I seen an article as well that Police Scotland are going to go more for hate crime. They're going to give more attention to hate crime than home abuse. I think that's a terrible thing to bring out. And how the heck somebody shouting a name at somebody is worse than somebody getting abused in their home.
Dave, if they're going to arrest people for hate crimes, then they'll have to have the capacity for 20,000 arrests. Pittodrie tomorrow, so let's not kid each other on here, but pretend we're naive about what's going to happen. We know exactly what's going to happen. They're going to be shouting all manner of abuse, all manner of hate crimes are going to be committed. And I suggest Police Scotland will be doing not much about it.
Well, I don't know. They seem to always start. I'm afraid they start with Rangers supporters, and normally the book they take a bunch of Rangers supporters to court, and then everybody starts crying about it. Maybe one Celtic supporter gets taken to court, and then they all cry about it, and then it gets dropped. I think that's the normal way it was, isn't it?
It's kind of moments like this when I wonder whether Scotland is actually run by adults or not, because it's some of the stuff that gets, hate crimes and, people shouting, hearty words at one another and they want to involve the police. Really? Really?
Well, I mean, I think it's the police that are sort of running the show, But the other thing is I sort of seen it. I'm not. I didn't read the whole article. Is obviously these pyrotechnics, Dave. It's a crime, and seemingly Rangers have been talking to the Union Bears about it, and I believe they've came to an agreement about it. I don't know whether that'll stick or whether it won't stick. But Aberdeen, they've got one of these shows that they set up. They're set up with the club themselves before the game, and I know FC20 do that as well. Do you think that would be a thing for Rangers to do as well? Just set up a show at the beginning?
Yeah, there's. I'm sure there'll be discussions with the support as to if it's going to. I mean, it does add to the spectacle, Dave. There's just no two ways about it. As to whether we're compromising safety for the spectacle, I think there is a good case to be made there as well. So, and is there a way of doing it safely? With the clubs being involved. Because I mean, you've been at Hampden numerous times, and those big flamethrowers. I've been at Hampden, in the South Stand, where I can feel the heat from the jets of flames. Bloody hell. So I mean, if it can be done safely, then and there've been fireworks at grounds before. It's been cup competitions, cup finals. And the ending of the game could be some sort of firework display off the roof, opening ceremonies within, many times have we seen that. So it can be done within a stadium safely. And if the club can work with the supporters and creating, a spectacle that's not going to hurt anyone, then I'm sure we can find a solution. But Dave, obviously you're of a vintage, and me too. You were thinking, of football in the 70s, and and I'm thinking, the Scottish Cup final in 1980, when there was a volley of bottles coming out the Rangers end that day that would have was akin to the Battle of Agincourt. It was quite impressive display of bottle throwing that day. And now we've got some fireworks and people are getting all uptight about it. And you think how far we've come from all of that, and in terms of safety, So I'm sure that it can be done safely if the clubs and the supporters get together and get something organised. Then I'm sure we could find some way of doing it.
See, I was at that game, Dave. The night was, in fact, it was my last game before I moved abroad. And I was lucky that I got in front of one of the pillars and got out the road. But see, the horrible thing about that was, see, the chance that they had of hitting a Celtic supporter was absolutely nil. See, the chance that they were going to be throwing bottles on top of Rangers supporters, and it was Rangers supporters that were doing it. Yeah. Then the chance was, and I seen wee boys getting carried away with their heads all covered in blood. I mean, that was just horrible, and I can imagine that alcohol was stopped then because of that game, because it was just shocking, and it was horrible to be in it, to be honest with you. And I say, I was lucky I got myself in front of a pillar, and
the missiles that were thrown that day were just it was astonishing, because and Strathclyde's finest, Strathclyde Police as it was at that time, they took. I mean, that was what. Do you remember those horses ran round the kind of perimeter of the pitch? That was what sparked the volley of bottles, and I mean, the horses took some abuse that day, as did the coppers. But
there's one thing I've always says, Dave. Can you imagine in the 70s? Remember Motherwell? When was it? I can't remember what the occasion was, but Motherwell supporters came over and faced up to the Rangers supporters about, I think it was in the McCall, when McCall was manager, was it? And the Motherwell supporters came up, and I thought, see, if that was the 70s, they wouldn't have blooming dared to do that. They would have been chased a mile away, and the Rangers supporters just stood there, which I take my hat off for them for doing it. But in the 70s, Dave, they would have been murdered for doing that.
Yeah. Oh, Dave, my confession is that I was only ever on the pitch twice, and one time was at Motherwell when we played them, and I think it was a Scottish Cup tie, and Rangers went 2-0 down, and the Rangers fans just thought, oh, let's just get on the pitch, and we did, in very large numbers, and eventually the game got cleared, and the Rangers eventually won the game 5-2. John Gregg scored a couple, and we're on the pitch, and there was a similar situation at Love Street for St Mirren, when the Rangers fans, thought we would just have a head ripped onto the pitch and disrupt things accordingly. But you're right. I mean, could you imagine in those days, someone coming on to confront the away fans coming on to confront the Rangers support? It would have been pretty much what would have happened. But
but anyway, let's hope there's no crowd trouble tomorrow and everything goes well.
Yeah, they have to keep it sensible, But for people, to say that that the police are going to be mindful of any hate crimes within the stadium, what does that mean?
No, I don't think it's just this one game in the stadium, Dave. I think it's overall that even if you're in the street and you shout something not very nice, I'll put it mildly, then I think they're going to pick up on that as well. I think that's part of their tactics.
Would it be something along the lines of you're not very nice to farm animals? Would it be something like that?
Yeah, something like that, Dave. Yeah. Farmyard animals would be in somewhere, I think, Dave. Yeah. But anyway, let's move on to something. How's your wallet, Dave? Is it nice and full?
Well, there's a couple of moths in there.
Well, the Rangers' annual financial report was out today. Now, I'm not near a financial expert, I'm afraid. I hope you know a wee bit more than I do, because I can't even look at my own wallet without the money flying out it. So the highlights include record core revenue of 88.3 million, a record total income of 94.2 million. Now I take it the income, that the 94 income is, I don't know what the difference is between core revenue, Dave. Do you know that? Are you up into that? What the core the core revenue is and what the total income is? You any idea what that means?
Dave, accounts are usually an exercise in trying to make a 3-0 defeat sound like a 3-0 win, and that's generally that's your objective as an accountant, to dress it up and any positive spin you can think of. So but the bottom line is the 17.2. So that's really, you've got to try and dress that up as something that's just it's going to go away. We're not going to do that again. It's always jam tomorrow with accounts.
I suppose, Dave, the one that does sort of make sense is record commercial revenue is 67 million, and that's double-digit growth, which I would imagine is 10 to 15 million or something like that. I think that's and I've seen an article, Dave, that the sponsorship of Boxed is been renewed with a better sponsorship, more money, and the 32 Red has been this other name, the parent company. What is it? That Unibet? Is it Unibet? I've got it on myself, haven't I? Oh no, I've got 32 Red on, but I think it's Unibet as well. We've got on the shirts. I think that's the same company.
It's different branches of the same outfit. Yeah, so it's the same sponsorship effectively, Dave. We're just wearing different jerseys.
Yeah, for a lot more money, they're saying. So I think it was. I read some 60% more. They'll be bringing in 60% more or something. Yeah. And so the pre-player trading loss was reduced by 2 million or to 2 million, down from 10.5 million in 2023. Club free of litigation, Dave claims, for the first time in a decade. Now there's something for the trophy room, Dave.
Yeah, we get a certificate made up. So we're free of litigation. Hang that beside the League Cup.
Yeah.
What a fucking club we are! Not monsoons anymore. Yippee!
Yeah. I'm going to get a T-shirt with "We stuffed Mike Ashley" on it.
Litigation 3 and 23. You're like,
you better watch you don't get pulled up for a hate crime, Dave.
I know. Yeah.
The police will be sitting waiting for you.
What's up, so, this is the first time in 10 years no one's suing us. We'll celebrate that. Yippee!
Yeah, well, it's quite funny.
I mean, it's sad that it's come to this. That's our success for the season. No one's suing us.
Did you win the league? No, but we do litigation against this.
We'll not be in court anytime soon.
Yeah. Anyway, interim chairman John Gilligan commented, undoubtedly it's been a challenging period for the football club, a significant change occurring with both on and off the park throughout both season 2023-24 and over the summer months. As part of the changes, John Bennett stepped away from his role as chairman in order to focus on his health. John remains a supportive shareholder, an investor in the club, and I'd like to place on record my thanks for his leadership, both as chairman and director, over the past 9 years. We look forward to welcoming you back to Ibrox. Now, one of the things, obviously, I was listening to the financial officer of Rangers today, Taylor, I think it is his name. Is it John Taylor? And he was saying, yeah, next year is going to be difficult because of the Hampden, having to pay extra for Hampden, and obviously the cost of the new stand, Copeland Road stand, the new work that was done to it, will obviously be piling up. So he said next year might be quite a difficult year, but they're still hoping to get the player. The one thing that keeps going now is what is it they call it? The player getting money for players when they're selling players.
The player trading model. The player trading model.
Yeah, player trading model. Get that going good, because up till now it's been a shambles. I mean, selling can't go for 550,000, was it? When Celtic get 3 million for that guy Johnson, who's hardly kicked a ball for them.
Yeah, absolutely, Davey. I mean, that is what we need. Is we need a Calvin Bassey every year, or something akin to that. Patterson. That's the level of we need that academy to do what it's supposed to do, and it just kind of brings home our inability as a club to get that thing to work. So. And our scouting system, and even when we do end up with something, which is valuable in the transfer market, and I'm thinking, off the top of my head, Alfredo Morelos, who we signed for £1 million, who we were getting offers, from France when Alfie was in his pomp. I think there's a French club we're talking 8 to 10 million for Alfie, and that we're going to have to be disciplined. We're going to have to be, strong enough, for the support to take that when players, are get to that level of value in the transfer market. We need to sell them because we didn't exploit some of the opportunities that we had. I'm thinking, Ryan Kent would have been another who we could have sold and at the right time and made some money on. So we just have to be a wee bit more hard nosed about it, and then eventually run down the contract, leave for free, and we've effectively spent. We haven't spent the money, but we've lost, the opportunity to bring in that revenue by hanging on to the person. And it is understandable that, if they're a good player, they're making a huge contribution to the team, and you want them to stay there. But I think we have to be in the position where when a player within our team, gets to that value, 10 times whatever we paid for them, 5 times what we paid for them, if their market value approaches those numbers, we should be looking to sell, because you see where we get to 17.2 million, and we've got we just didn't sell any players of any note, of any.
Funny enough, I heard, Dave, that I read today an article, and well, if you think that Gerrard, he went after Joey Fairman, that was his going to be his big signing, Joey Fairman. Yeah. If you think what he's worth today, I think it was going to cost 7 million then, and now they're talking about 50, 60, 70, 80 million maybe, even if the right person comes along. And then I heard that Gio was wanting to bring in Xavi Simons. For not that much money. I think he was only about 21 then, or maybe even 20. And you see the clubs that he's been at: PSG, PSV, to name two of them. I think he's in Germany somewhere now. I'm not sure, but we've not taken a chance in players, Dave, and pushing the boat out a wee bit. We've lost a hell of a lot of money through that.
Yeah, we have. We've passed by the opportunity to cash in some assets. When they get to a market value that we will not get later on. So as they run down their contract, we could look at Joe Aribo, Glenn Kamara. So we really need to be a bit more ruthless. Obviously, the support are going to have to be educated here in terms of, because we don't want to be losing, players who are making a huge, contribution on the pitch. But if it's financially, worth it for the club, to take the money in and then lay maybe, I don't know, 50% of it back out to be attracting other players, we need to get that model correct. We have been spectacularly bad at it, and we need to get better. It's as simple as that. And as the financial man was saying, that next year's not going to be any better, because we're trying to actually drive down the overall cost of our squad, which is in terms of the salaries. So it is going down, but the quality of the players in our squad is going down accordingly. We need to try and arrest that. So we need better value, because we have forked out quite a bit of money. I'm thinking, millions for Cyril Dessers. We're paying, 25 grand a week for people who are indifferent as football players.
No, 28. I'm talking to 28. Yeah. You know what shocked me, Dave, during the week? I was looking up the FC20 wage for 2024, and Proper wasn't even getting 2,000 a week. He was in 1,900 something a week. So we went from a what was it? Connor Golson was on 38,000 a week, I believe. And if you look at that, and we're dropping down to somebody, I mean, he'll probably not be getting. He'll be getting more than 2,000 at Rangers. I wouldn't imagine it'd be any more than 8,000 or something like that.
Yeah, Dave. We're going to have a long, hard look at it. In terms of what we're paying these players, what we're getting. Are we getting value? Because I think the guys. I mean, if they're top players and their market value is 8-10 million quid, and we can get that return from selling them later on, that having had the benefit of them in our first team for a couple of years, then that's the model we need to get to, because the way it's happening at the moment is unsustainable, because we cannot, we don't have a money machine, somewhere in the blue room where you just print more cash. Someone is going to have to fund that deficit, and it usually comes from investors, people who are Rangers men at heart, ploughing their money into the club to make sure that we're not accumulating losses. So something has to change. The only way around it is to get the player model thing to work. So we need the academy to work. We need a scouting system that can identify people where we can buy low and sell high. It's no more complicated than that.
Yeah, well, no, I heard from during the week that I read it somewhere that the boy Miller from Motherwell, he has a good chance that he might be going to Celtic now that they're obviously looking up. They've always been looking up for a long time, but seemingly they're going to try and get him. But whether that's true or not, I don't know. I'm obviously not high up in the Celtic information. But Rangers, I mean, this is the thing where we've been talking about the academy, Dave, for a while. Rangers women and girls managing director Donald Gallus says the club are determined to help bridge the gap between academy and first team level. The White Blues, alongside a number of Scottish clubs, are working with the SFA around supporting younger players and making the step up to the top team environment. Now, this is something we've been talking about for ages, and I'm actually shocked at the SFA or the FA in this. I don't know whether they've got the same FA as we've got, or there is a special ladies FA. But when you've got a top club, Dave, with players in their B team playing games against friendly opposition, then there's something wrong with the setup somewhere, Dave. Because or the other teams were playing at about the 20th tier of Scottish football. I'm just saying that as a number. But it's absolutely shocking. Our B teams should be in the professional leagues, Dave.
Dave, you have to get people who have the interests of Scottish football in the room and to act accordingly. Unfortunately, you get a whole load of pishy wee clubs in the room, and all they do is protect their own interests. So they don't vote for the greater glory of Scottish football. They vote for the greater glory of Alloa Athletic or Brecon City or East Stirling. So, and their 50 diehard fans, who have been going for 20 years. So it needs a radical rethink. We need to, because I mean, many times have the reports been produced saying that Scottish football needs to reform, and here's what we need to do. So everyone's really good at identifying what we need to do. What we've not been very good at is persuading people to actually do it. And the current setup means that the SPFL and the 40 clubs would have to sit down, and some of those 40 clubs are going to have to say, do you know what? We need to merge. We need to concentrate our resources, in a fewer number of full-time professional clubs for the greater glory of Scottish football. But no one wants to be that guy who says, right, okay, I'll go back to my club and tell them that we're no longer, in the one of the top divisions, in senior football. We're going to have to go junior, or we're going to have to merge with another club. They're not going back with bad news. They're just going to dig their heels in and survive any way they can.
But surely, I mean, I would imagine that Rangers, Celtic, Hearts, Hibs, and Aberdeen would probably be the only clubs that would have B teams so high up. Surely, I mean, I think Rangers going to a ground in the Central Belt, I think they would still take about 5,000 supporters there.
Yeah, they could, yeah, but yeah. So, what their argument is, why should we be used as a stepping stone? For a very small, band of clubs, at the top who've got more money than anyone else, and why should we, sacrifice our ambition to help them? And they'll say, well, Ray would say, well, you don't really have the resources to kind of match your ambition, so you're never going to get anywhere. But they're saying, but we still have the chance. It could happen. There could be a Livingston, came from nowhere, came from Ferranti Thistle to win the Scottish League Cup, or there could be, Gretna, who came from nothing to get to the Scottish Cup final. So they kind of cling on to that wee moment where they could do it. They could have their moment in the sun, albeit it's extremely unlikely, and they usually end up going bust and doing it. So that's what we're pretty much up against. So
anyway, Dave, I'm through from what I've got to say, and I'm conscious of the time. We're well over the time, well over the hour mark now. I'll end up with I'll let you have a prediction tomorrow and a little a little come on, get it up you time note.
Dave, maybe I shouldn't say it this way, but I would label this as a call to arms. Maybe that's a bit aggressive. I think we should go up there, puff our chests out, and get on that pitch. And as Barry says, shut them up. Let's go up there and deliver the message that they'll all understand. They are they're a long way short. So we need Rangers. We need the Rangers players, the Rangers team to step up. So let's put this nonsense to bed.
We talked about it being a big game for the manager for Clement. That if we lose, he might get the sack. A watershed moment, as it you called it at the time. I don't think it is that anymore. I think he's with the last two results, he's bought himself time.
Well, he's bought himself some time. He's bought himself another week, Dave, because with tomorrow's game and and the League Cup semi-final on Sunday, if I don't even want to think about how that could possibly could turn against us and what the outcome of that would be. I don't want to think about that, but Philip Clement would be wise to think about what could happen in the unlikely event that it doesn't go our way. Dave, we're not too far away because the performance on Sunday was shit. Let's not dress it up as anything other than that. It was absolute garbage. So the teams who are coming to Ibrox at the moment, the Aberdeen team who we'll be facing tomorrow, and the Motherwell team who we'll be facing on Sunday, have no fear of Rangers. They think Rangers are doable, and we need to persuade them otherwise. Starting tomorrow night with a performance that will just blitz them, blow them away, 3-0, back down the road, 3 points, bag of chips, and laugh at them.
Well, I hope you're right, Dave. Is that what you really think, Dave? 3-0, or is that looking through the blue glasses a wee bit?
Oh no, that's through. I think tomorrow's is Philip Clement's got this one right. It is going to be a battle, so I think it could be quite a close tie. I'm hoping that the Rangers will step up here. They will understand that this could be a defining moment for Philip Clement. I think if Philip Clement goes over there and delivers the message that we all need to deliver to Aberdeen, then he will go a long way to securing his longer term future at Ibrox. If it's the alternative, then I'm not going to go into detail on that one.
Well, I'll come on top of that, Dave. As I don't think Clement's going anywhere soon. So I hope Rangers will win 2-1 tomorrow. I think we will turn up for the game tomorrow for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know whether Aberdeen are really so good although they played good against Celtic, I must admit. I don't know. We'll see how good they are when we turn up tomorrow. And all I'm going to say now is thanks for coming on, Dave. It's absolutely brilliant talking to you again. And we'll see each other next week, I think. Hopefully we'll be doing another show. And we'll be talking about beating the Dons or whatever. I'll call them in a nice name because I don't want any hate crimes against me. So
we should call them, Dave, the people who are not very nice to farm animals.
yeah. So on that note, I will finish. Thanks for listening, everybody, and bye.